Almost a quarter of a century ago, a new South African wine competition was created. Its focus was the discovery of vinous excellence. Its benchmarks, the world's finest wines. To meet these objectives, a new and largely infallible judging methodology was designed. Its guidelines were simple enough. Professionally trained judges working in three-person panels with at least one of the panel members an international specialist, mandated to bring a different and broader aesthetic to the show's judgments. Panelists would seek to arrive at consensus-driven scores, with a show chairman available just in case to resolve differences. We can now see how this model has contributed to the transformation of the South African wine industry. Producers responding to the show's rigorous criteria have upped their game, while judges from abroad have taken the message of Cape wine to the fine wine markets of the world. The Trophy Wine Show is now the longest running wine competition in South Africa, which rates and ranks every entry, awarding gold, silver and bronze medals and trophies only to the best-in-class gold medalists. As headline sponsor of the Trophy Wine Show, Investec celebrates the show's pursuit of excellence.
As a leading international bank and wealth manager, Investec are proud to be the title sponsor of the Trophy Wine and Spirit shows for the fourth consecutive year. The Trophy Wine Show showcases homegrown, world-class South African wines on an international stage. Our clients and South Africans are passionate about fine wine, and I was amazed to recently hear that around 17 million glasses of South African wine is consumed every day around the world.
The 2025 Trophy Wine Show, brought to you by Investec, marks, I think, a very interesting turning point in the evolution of the Cape wine industry, and I say that for several reasons. First of all, there was general strength across a wide range of classes. We certainly have never seen that in the era in which the judging rigor and the demands of the international market have made that so important. But as importantly, I think, why we should look at this as a kind of key moment is that there's the beginnings of a real depth of talent across the top of many of those classes. We're not just scraping in with one medal, one gold medal. We're seeing 4 or 5 gold medals in the more important classes. And we're seeing them even with a couple of vintages on the tasting bench that are not extraordinary. So the people who are really on top of their viticulture, the people who have adjusted their cellar practices to the more difficult vintages, have managed to produce gold medal wines, and that's enormously important.
With wine consumption plummeting in many of the traditional markets and sales everywhere in crisis, it is now more important than ever to emphasize the importance of quality and therefore to enhance our international competitiveness. By listening to what this year's international panelists had to say about the wines they judged, we both celebrate the accomplishments of our most successful producers and work to build on those achievements.
Well, it was probably the strongest red class. It had 5 gold medals in the class and a number of different styles. And honestly, the progress with Shiraz has been phenomenal in the last 12 years. I don't think I found much to love 12 years ago, and what's happening today seems like the most exciting red category that has really developed incredibly. A lot of really red fruited, bright Shiraz, really clever use of whole bunch and producing these medium bodied wines that have, varietal character. They have, brightness of fruit, lovely texture and freshness, and they're not overdone, but not forsaking the bigger, more robust styles as well. There was a couple that came through that were well supported by me, because I think, Shiraz is a incredibly diverse variety, and it really expresses where it's been grown. And when you have this smart winemaking with understanding what the site can produce, you've got some really interesting wines going on there. I'm in Australia, look out.
What South Africa, Shannon, does have, and it comes down to your sunshine, climate and soils and that combination. But South African Shannon has a brilliance of fruit, so really pure power, a brightness, a direction, a depth of colour. It can take oak without becoming too oaky. Obviously in the right hands, anyone can ruin a good wine. So what it does mean is that South African can do entry-level Shannon that's bright and vibrant, full of grapefruit, really fresh, all the way through to Shannons that drive quite a strong mineral line, that can be rich, that can be honeyed, that can take age, that can take a little bit of residual sugar, and all the way through you're getting this beautiful acidity. And I think it's one of your gifts that even though you have this beautiful sunshine, Shannon in this country has this acidity, and it's a very pure spine that runs through it. So it almost doesn't matter how ripe your Shannons get, they have structure.
Look, it's an improvement. What is, because we are only here in South Africa at the beginning of this evolution, it's also a construction. The proportion between each variety in the Bordeaux blend is a human construction. It's not to blend everything you have on there, okay, and then say it's a blend. The blend is a construction. You have to think it. You have even to dream it in your head before building it, to have the right proportion between the Cabernet, the Merlot. Now they have 3, 4, 5, 6. The best traditional way was to have 3. Like in life, you need the husband, the wife, and the lover. It's absolutely sure that Petit Verdot doesn't like Cabernet Sauvignon. But when you have some Merlot with the Petit Verdot, it can work. But it's a good evolution.
In the 24 years since the inception of the Trophy Wine Show, the judges have reviewed over 22,000 wines. From this number, a mere 428 have won trophies. There have been fewer than 724 gold medal winners and 2,385 silver medals. Roughly half the wines entered have won no medal at all, reinforcing the message that a medal, any medal at the Trophy Wine Show, brought to you by Investec, is a real achievement.